Hey, what is up mortals? It is TCCrew here with a new video for you. Welcome to part 6 of what if Deku had a perfect combination of his parents' quirks. I just wanted to greet you guys by just saying, sit back and relax, you're in for a treat. So, we begin. As the attack on the USJ continues, All Might along with Izuku by his side begin to battle Shigaraki and his bioengineered creation, Nomu, in the central plaza. Meanwhile, up at the gate, a handful of students and a pro hero, 13, face down the strange warping villain that is blocking their way out of the USJ, trying to come up with a plan. During this, 13 tells Ida to use his quirk to get past their foe and outside so he can get help from UA. Though Ida is initially reluctant to abandon his class, he eventually agrees to leave and get backup, thanks to some encouragement from his peers. After Ida agrees to the plan, the warp villain attempts to attack 13 and the students before they can follow through, but 13 is able to halt the attack by using her quirk, which starts a brief altercation between the two. As that happens, all throughout the USJ, many members of Class 1A are busy with their own confrontations against hordes of lackey villains attacking them. However, some groups have managed to deal with a large number of criminals and are slowly making their way back to the main gate as we speak. Over in the Ruined Zone, Bakugo and Kirishima pretty much wipe out all opposition with barely any effort as they head to the central plaza, while in the Landslide Zone, Todoroki interrogates some captured villains for info on what exactly they're planning to do. Moving over to the other zones, we see Tokiyami and Jiro hold their own against swarms of enemies, just like Momo and Koda are over in the Storm Zone, as Ojiro is working hard to stay a few steps ahead of his opponents in the Fire Zone. However, the most interesting event is happening over in the Shipwreck Zone, with Sue, Mineta, and Kaminari clearing it in a matter of minutes. You see, not long after arriving to this zone, they made it to a nearby ship. A few moments later, a large number of villains appear to attack them, but thanks to Kaminari's electrification quirk, he simply touches the water and electrocutes all the enemies until they're unconscious. So yeah, Kaminari was useful for once. Unfortunately though, he used his quirk and is now dumber than he usually is, but even so, him along with Mineta and Sue do start heading over to the gate. Meanwhile, back at the entrance as the struggle between the warping villain and 13 continues, a warp gate suddenly opens behind her, turning 13's own power against her. This efficiently injures 13 enough to put her out of commission, leaving the students there scared and unnerved by the sight of such an event. But despite the gruesome situation, Ida refuses to stand by and watch, so he uses his quirk to speed past the overwhelming foe, heading straight towards the exit. The villain then follows after Ida and opens up multiple gates in his path to try and slow him down, though even with these obstacles, Ida is able to make it to the exit, thanks to some interference from his classmates, where he starts to pry open the door. Ida's adversary does try to stop him within a small window of opportunity, but Uraraka notices a piece of the villain's armor and touches it, making the criminal float up. Persero and Sato uses their quirks to throw him further away from the gate, allowing Ida to escape the USJ. Once outside and not wanting to rest for even a second, Ida uses Reciprocal Burst to increase his speed and make it to UA as fast as possible. Upon Ida's escape, the warping villain begrudgingly goes back to the central plaza to inform Shigaraki of his failure, but is greeted by a scene of intense fighting between Nomu and All Might, as Tomura and Izuku take part in the chaos as well, either by fighting each other or trying to assist their allies. In the midst of this, as Shigaraki is forced back by a small wave of green flames, he notices his underling and inquires if the students at the gate were taken care of, but when he is informed of Ida's escape, his mood turns to one of pure frustration and anger, as he says,
"Damn it, Kurogiri, how could you have failed me so miserably against a bunch of kids? You're pathetic. I had to turn you to dust this very second. But then again, I'm no better. If those other kids are annoyed to hell like this brat,"
gestures to Izuku,
"then they're all definitely more powerful than we expected. Such a pain."
Tomura begins to scratch his neck profusely, grunting,
"I wish we could stay and turn them all to dust. But now we only have enough time to kill All Might, which is next to impossible until that green-haired pyro is dealt with. This needs to end. Lend me a hand to finish this, Kurogiri. I don't want to waste any more time."
With this request, Kurogiri sends out his mist without hesitation, scattering it across the battlefield, allowing a gateway to open behind Izuku without him realizing it, giving Shigaraki an opportunity to reach through the portal and deal a fatal end. Luckily, All Might notices this and sends a gust of air at the portal, injuring Tomura's left arm as it forces him to back away from the warp in pain. But unfortunately, this gives the Nomu an opening to land a devastating hit on All Might's upper torso, which sends him sliding into a wall and leaving him struggling to breathe. As All Might slowly stands back up, profusely coughing up blood, he slurs a command at Izuku to escape, but just then the Nomu takes a step closer to the symbol of peace, right as another gateway opens beside the number 1 hero, with Shigaraki stretching out his right arm to decay the beaten hero. This causes Ryu to ignore his idol and breathe a large stream of flames, separating it into 2 individual streams, and sends one to hit the Nomu, dealing some severe burns while also slowing it down, while the other smaller inferno is sent straight at Tomura's portal, which hits and easily goes through to Shigaraki's side and scorches his arm along with the upper right torso, causing him to fall onto the ground as he screams in agony from the burns. As the sight of Tomura writhing in pain on the floor, Izuku tenses up and freezes as he watches on, feeling conflicted about his power while a scene of suffering plays out in front of him. After a few brief seconds, Ryu finally snaps out of his daze when he notices a large amount of steam coming off of All Might and turns his attention to the injured pro. With the realization that something must be wrong, Midoriya runs over towards All Might in order to check on his condition. But once he makes it over by his teacher, Izuku comes face to face with a severely injured and shriveled up shell of a person looking back at him. Greatly confused, Ryu kneels down checking on the stranger's wounds while asking with a stressed and panicked tone in his voice.
What? Sir, are you okay? How did he even get here? And where's All Might? I know he was right here before you suddenly showed up, so what the hell is going on?
In response, the frail man lifts his head and answers with a weak voice.
Oh, I'm sorry for all this, young Midoriya. Sorry that you had to see me like this. Sorry I can't do more. There's no other way to say this, and you won't believe me, but...
Before All Might can finish, he's interrupted by a sudden burst of laughter from Shigaraki, who gleefully continues the answer.
What are you, kid? Stupid or blind? That is All Might. That's what he truly is without all those big, bubbleless muscles and his fraudulent smile. Your hero is nothing but a fake.
In disbelief, Izuku looks at All Might in his weakened state, noticing faintly similar features as he continues trying to make the connection in his head. But right when he does, his face goes pale with a confused yet frightened expression. Tomura then struggles up to his feet and obnoxiously gloats.
Oh, how sad it is to see a fanboy learn of how just pathetic their idol is. That look of sheer disbelief and frightened realization that there's no symbol of peace here to protect is absolutely priceless. Almost worth all these burns you've given me. But even so, I will want to make sure you and All Might suffer far more than I have today. It's only fair.
The moment he hears this, Ryu puts his thoughts aside, turning towards Tomura, Nomu, and Kurogiri to face them when the deranged Shigaraki scoffs and replies,
Please, kid, you might be powerful, but you're no match for my Nomu. Oh, it's only made to tank All Might's attacks. My little bioengineered anti-symbol of peace here has a shock absorption quirk and a regeneration quirk, meaning it can hail from anything you throw at it. It's like trying to beat a level 100 boss. At level 1, you've got no hope. Just give up and die already.
Toshinori then speaks up, telling Izuku to leave and let him handle this, when Tomura interjects.
Seriously, give me a break, All Might. This is why I hate you and all those other heroes. Always acting like everything is fine, and that you can solve any problem, when you're really deceiving everyone to make yourself look better. It's all fake, and I'll show the world true fear after I kill you.
At this, Ryu, with a determined look on his face, shouts out,
You're wrong. Every hero puts their life on the line each day to protect other...
But before Izuku can continue, Shigaraki interjects, bluntly stating,
Oh, you're such a hopeful type, aren't you? Reality check, brat. This world is shit, and everyone in it is only looking out for themselves, including your little symbol of peace, who probably wouldn't do a thing if he wasn't getting paid. It's disgusting that pros act all high and mighty when they're nothing but selfish trash, even more than us villains.
Midoriya tries to get a word in, but is cut off as Tomura continues ranting on.
Why be a hero wasting time saving others, changing nothing, when you can tear it all down and rebuild it however you like? That's a right for those who have the power to do so. It's natural, and with your quirk, you'll be much more suited for that. You'll make one hell of a villain. Not that I'm offering, but do you really think you can save people with raging infernos that could easily kill hundreds and injure more far worse than you've done to me? It's laughable. Do you think you can?
But with a swift motion, Ryu interrupts Shigaraki of his little tirade by breathing a large gust of fire straight at the deranged villain, who barely avoids getting hit thanks to his Nomu stepping up and taking the blast for him, which is where Izuku yells out in a commanding voice, "No, you're laughable, spewing all that crap, thinking you're right to destroy and kill because you can. You're the one who's disgusting." At this, Tomura grins, saying with a self-righteous tone,
"Look who's talking. You just tried to kill me. You're..."
Shigaraki is then abruptly halted by another breath of fire from Midoriya that hits the Nomu once again and allows Izuku to retort,
"I wasn't trying to kill you. I knew your abomination would protect you no matter what, so there was no harm with what I did."
Ryu pauses, breathing more flames at Nomu, keeping it from moving or fully healing as he continues his speech.
"There might be a lot of people out there who are pros for the wrong reasons, and they might be as you described them, but me, my entire class, and many others are different."
Izuku shots off more fire again to keep his opponent pinned down, but is beginning to feel worn out as he says,
"You act all high and mighty saying that it's all a waste of time to save others. There's nothing I'd rather do because I can change countless people's outlook on the world and give them hope. That's something worth doing, and it's something I'm willing to give my life to do."
Midoriya spits out another surge of flames, but Kurogiri opens a warp gate, intercepting the attack, and opens a second gate to send a raging inferno at All Might, nearly frying him. However, Ryu managed to redirect his flames before it's too late, pulling it all away from Toshinori and back towards his location where, as he tries to catch his breath, slowly swirls the emerald blaze around himself, bathing his figure in a brilliant green glow. This makes Midoriya emit an impressive and imitating presence to everyone there, including Kaminari, Sue, and Mineta, who arrived a short while ago, but even so Shigaraki gives a menacing glare and mockingly states,
"Oh, you're such a hero, nearly causing All Might to die because of your quirk. How on earth are people going to look at you as anything more than a killer when you could burn down the whole world by accident? Yet you still think you can be a hero. How are you so blind to what your quirk makes you in the eyes of society? Wait, I know why. It's probably because you've been told your entire life of how special and better than you are than everyone else. Like those other wannabe heroes. Isn't that right?"
With this question, Ryu stands there for a few brief seconds, pondering how to answer when he remembers back to the day his quirk first awoken, along with everything about it, which leads Izuku to finally find a remark, exclaiming with a frustrating tone and expression, "No, that's not it at all. You have no idea how many times people shot me a look that made me feel like they were scared of me or hated me. Not to mention how many times I was called a villain or treated me different because of a mistake I made as a kid." Ryu clenches his fists and tears up before shouting,
"For so long I felt like I couldn't do anything good with my abilities because of how others would look at me. I was even scared of my own quirk, but thanks to what All Might told me when we first met, and thanks to everyone who supported me, made me feel that I wasn't some kind of a monster. I know I can be a hero. I know I can save lives. I know that I have nothing to be scared of. So despite how others may look at me, I'll be there to stand against villains like you with a smile on my face, giving them hope that everything will be okay, because in the end, this is exactly what a hero is supposed to do, exactly what I will do right here!"
With an irate scowl and burning determination, Midoriya raises up his hands to manipulate the circling flames around him, gearing up to fight, as he locks eyes with Tomura, leaving silence to fill the air for a short time before Shigaraki sighs, saying,
"I'm sick of playing around. Nomu, dispose of this trash now. Leave nothing but a filthy crater."
Following orders, the Nomu rushes towards at its target, instantly appearing in front of Izuku, leaving him no time to react in any way as the beast swings his fist at lightning speed. Then suddenly, a partially buffed up All Might jumps in front of the attack and uses all the strength he can muster to deliver a punch of his own, causing the two attacks to collide where upon impact a devastating shockwave reverberates through the entire USJ, knocking everyone near the central plaza off their feet, while others further away feel the more minor effects of this. For those in the main plaza, they're all blown away easily by these two attacks, hitting one another. Shigaraki is pretty much thrown into a nearby fountain by this and lands in it, getting injured a small bit more. Kurogiri is just sent flying out of the main plaza, but shortly after he recovers in decent condition, then proceeds to make his way back to Shigaraki. As for Kaminari, Sue, and Mineta, they were caught up in a wave, but with them still in the water. Now unfortunately, due to Izuku being right next to the epicenter of the blast, he gets tossed back into a wall, cracking it just by the sheer force of impact, and hurts his back as a result, leaving him on the ground. As All Might and Nomu struggle to overpower each other, Izuku tries to stand back up with his flames slowly weakening during this period, but once on his feet again he turns towards the two juggernauts still locked in their tussle when Midoriya notices All Might beginning to lose ground. Seeing an opening, Ryu bolts over to aid the symbol of peace, running as fast as he can while gathering up the remainders of his fire into a single compressed ball. Once he gets close enough, Izuku chucks his flaming ball at Nomu and breathes out all the fire he can to add to the attack as he moves closer to its target. Then out of nowhere Kurogiri appears and opens up a warp gate a few inches in front of the Fury Sphere, swallowing it up before Ryu could do anything to redirect his projectile. Right after this happens, another warp gate opens directly above Toshinori, barely half an inch away from the top of his head, and Midori's attack exits through the gate far too fast for anything to be done, leading an already exhausted All Might to be hit directly, causing the pro to be engulfed in an explosion of intense green flames. Immediately following the explosion, silence is all that can be heard as Izuku stands there dumbstruck from what just transpired and shaking the fear off the worst possible results coming true. A moment passes where Shigaraki, Kurogiri, and many of the students up at the exit or by the plaza all look to the large smoke cloud, holding their breaths, waiting to see what is left. After what felt like an eternity, the dust finally settles down enough to reveal a large, misshapen figure dragging a frail and severely burnt Toshinori across the ground, stunning everyone by the mere sight of this horror playing out. Once the Nomu fully heals, it lobs All Might at Izuku, landing the motionless hero at the feet of a heartbroken student and fan who looks on as something he's responsible for, with only thoughts of regret racing through his head when Tomura busts out laughing hysterically, blustering on at Midoriya's expense.
Well, look at you now. Not acting all so noble and badass anymore, huh? I was starting to think you couldn't do anything wrong at all, but it's clear to see that I was wrong. You caused your oh-so-precious symbol to die because you refuse to accept what you truly are. A murderer, a monster that will only ever destroy. You're the scum who took the great symbol of peace out of this world, and everyone who ever called you and looked at you as a villain will know that they were right all along. From this day forward, you're one of us, kid, and the globe will know you are the mighty villain who killed All Might. I guess you were right to fear your own Quirk after all, huh?
At these words, Ryu falls to the floor, breaking down as he sobs and cries more than he ever has in his life, while Shigaraki continues to boast.
I should thank you and Kurogiri for working together to deal the killing blow. I'm actually tempted to let you live knowing that everything you stood for in this world is false, where in reality there is no such thing as an infallible hero, and you also realized that this destruction is the only thing you'll be capable of. But I really don't like you, so...
Tomura turns to Nomu and simply says,
This is game over, Nomu. Put him out of his misery.
The beast prepares to do as it's told, but the very second it moves a muscle, a surge of ice speeds across the ground, hitting the creature and freezing it solid in a blink of an eye. Then, before anyone could react to free Nomu, Bakugo leaps over to Kurogiri, delivering a multitude of powerful explosions which temporarily incapacitate the goon, giving Kachan along with Kirishima an opportunity to sprint over to Izuku and All Might in order to check on them. When they make it over to their friend and teacher, Todoroki joins to look at their condition as well, noting that All Might is severely burnt, causing everyone there to ponder about what crazy things must have happened here, which Shigaraki is more than happy to inform them that it was all Ryu's fault. Hearing this shocks the three students as they look at Izuku's shell-shocked face, refusing to believe such a thing. But when Sue, along with Mineta and a dumb Kaminari, run up to the group, they confirm that Shigaraki is telling the truth about what happened to All Might. As most of the students are left speechless by this news, Bakugo refuses to believe that his friend could do something like that and yells at Tomura.
I don't care what anyone has to say, especially you.
Kachan scowls at Shigaraki as he continues.
It's not true, so shut the hell up before I finish what All Might and Ryu started. You're outnumbered, injured, and I have nowhere to go, so give up before I demolish you.
Bakugo sets off small explosion in his hands with this threat. However, Shigaraki grins and turns to his frozen abomination commanding,
Nap time's over, Nomo. Wake up and show them your power.
The ice then cracks and immediately breaks apart, releasing the Nomu. Though some of his limbs did break off, the creature swiftly regenerates from this damage, stunning the small group as they look on nervously at the monstrosity rising up to his feet, which is when Tomura proudly exclaims,
It seems you understand like your little green-haired buddy there does. You can't stop me, or my wonderful creation. That is where you will all die, thanks to him killing All Might.
Pointing to Izuku.
In fact, he technically killed the 6 of you as well.
Points at the group before continuing.
So that means he'll die with a kill count of 7. Impressive.
Shigaraki then turns to Midori and asks,
Not bad for your first day. Tell me, Brad, how does it feel to cause so much death? It must be exciting, huh? Come on, answer.
Izuku attempts to remark, but can't find the words as his mind is lost in thought about everything that happened, feeling torn apart and ashamed of himself while Tomura smirks at the hesitation. Ryu, in his distraught state, looks down at All Might, getting ready to break down again, when he notices faint breathing and movement from the symbol of peace. Thank you all for indulging yourselves in the story thus far. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, there are a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, we've got a second channel called Anime Deep Dive. Anime Deep Dive goes deep into the facts and lore of a wide variety of anime. It's sure to expand your weeb knowledge for all kinds of series, guaranteed. On top of that, we have a third channel called itssslittt Naruto What Ifs. It's what we do on this channel already, but in the vast world and lore of Naruto. Go check it out if you're in the mood for some jutsu action. Secondly, on behalf of itssslittt, I'd like to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details will be in the description below. Lastly, if you're interested in what we do here at itssslittt, then I would like to extend out an invitation to join the team. The only caveat being we only accept members 16 years and up to join our crew. You can sign up for whichever category fulfills your interest by joining the recruitment Discord using the link in the description below. Our Discord is an all-around fantastic place to be, whether you're a fan or looking to join our band of misfits. We're always looking for members to join us. Well, that's it from us for today's video, so thank you all for watching and have a great day.